So how are you today?
I'm good. Happy Thursday.
Yes, it's been a busy day for me already.
Oh my goodness, I know you guys are headed into dinner time over there, or just getting the day
Yes,
started.
yes, soon. We'll go to dinner soon.
So fun. Oh, awesome. Thank you
Yes,
so much
yes,
for having me.
absolutely. I'm glad you could get on and we can chat and talk children's author and publishing journeys.
Yes, I'm excited. Let's do it.
Yes, yes. So I'll start here with the first question to you is what first led you to start writing faith-based children's books?
Yeah, it's a great question. I was actually a nanny a couple years ago for a sweet family. I absolutely love spending time with them.
That's
And I
great.
realize sometimes when, of course, you can always read them books, you can always watch a show with them, but sometimes when you're out and about, and driving in the car, sometimes I would have to get really creative with entertaining them. And
Yes.
I would just kind of start to make up some stories kind of on the spot.
Yes.
And I realized that the kids loved them and I had a lot of fun just coming up
Yes.
with something that was engaging and lighthearted. And so from there, I was like, you know what? I should probably like write this down at some point.
Right.
Remember
Let
these
me
stories.
jot it down.
Yes, remember these stories that I'm coming up with. And then from there is
Yeah.
kind of more of, I don't have kids of my own yet, but,
Yes.
the kids that I nanny for and babysit for, what kind of content do I want them to be encouraged by? And so that kind of
Absolutely.
me into and to start writing. But you are actually
That's
already a
great.
published author, Bria. You
Yes,
already
I
have
am.
a couple books out, so I would love to hear or
Yes.
share with everybody too how that started and
Absolutely.
how you got into that.
Yes. So I have an 8-year-old son, and he really enjoys reading and coloring, just being really active with his hands, whatever that might be, and using his imagination as he sees things to, work through on paper. And then he also likes to cut out construction paper and make things and that sort of thing. So I thought, well, you know what? Why don't I try to find something to where you can read and color at the same time? Well, I
Yeah.
didn't really come by many things, and especially when you're a Christian and faith based, it's kind of hard to find that happy median, so to speak. So I thought, well, let me
Mhm.
try to do it on my own. And I remember getting in the kitchen helping my mom make banana pudding or the different things. So I thought, you know what? Why don't I do a book and recreate what I learned as a child and put that into a book? And then we'll put coloring sheets at the end. So
So
that was where my very first one started. Yeah.
I love that. I love some banana.
Yes.
I definitely have to get that book because
Yes.
I haven't figured out
Yes.
how to make
And
that.
banana pudding is one of my favorite desserts. So I said, let me just start there. Let me work there and see where this takes me.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I'm sure your son loves your books though too.
Yes, he does. He thoroughly enjoys it. He's always behind me. Mom, what are you going to do next? What are you going to create next? And he enjoys going to farms and orchards and the different things. So we're always out and about, learning new things, doing new things together. Actually, was at a llama and alpaca farm yesterday, so that was very nice. We got to walk them around with their little leashes and things. So
Oh,
it was quite the experience. It was great.
oh, I love that so much.
Yes, yes. Well, moving right along, I'd like to know from you as well, how do you personally weave your faith in your books? As I know you are starting to or have published a book or working on it. Hopefully in April, right? You'll get that put out. So how do you just put that together in your books?
Yeah, that's a great question. My book is actually kind of specifically kind of teaching kids how to hear from God,
That's
especially when it
wonderful.
comes to in the place of prayer and even encouraging them to pray for other people, which I think
Yes.
sometimes is a topic that can feel a little intimidating or overwhelming even for us adults. But I feel like
Absolutely.
when we can kind of simplify it of just like, hey, God loves us, God loves the people around us. And sometimes
Yes.
we feel like he's talking to us in a certain way about the people around us. Maybe that's because he wants us
Yes.
to encourage them. So
Absolutely.
once we stop to overcomplicate it ourselves, it's actually just
Yes.
quite simple. What I feel like God's heart is for how he desires to use us in the world today. So
Yes.
it's
That
been a
is
fun journey.
wonderful.
Yeah, I've been on my own journey, obviously, as a Christian the last couple years, figuring that
Yes.
out for myself. And then that was something that I was like, you know what? I know there's a lot of great faith-based books out there. There's a lot of amazing books for kids out there. But my
Yes.
first set of books, this is what I would love to try to figure out a way to demystify, decomplicate,
Yes.
um, you know,
Absolutely.
hear from God and how we can use that to show his love to other people around us. So,
Yes.
um,
That is amazing, Taylor. That's wonderful.
yeah, it's been really fun. But I know you have a
Yes.
great idea for your series too, even with all the
Yes.
different seasons. So I'm so bummed I haven't had to read
Yes.
your book yet, but
Yes.
I'd love to hear,
Yes.
you know,
So that's wonderful. Yeah. So what I did was with the series that I've come out with, the whole collection for the seasons, I did the banana pudding as I told you about. I started there first, and then I thought, okay, well, let me see what else I can, work
yeah,
on, thereafter. So I had it in my heart to do the seasons because we all experience the seasons. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you
yeah,
have temperature change more than likely. There's, a little warmer days, little, so I kind of wanted to express that, through God's creation. So I started with the winter, and the family of the story is the Brighton. So it resembles my family, which is my husband and my 8-year-old son. And so I started there with the winter, and I start the story off with Psalm 74 about God creating the seasons and, the summer and the winter. I started off like with a Bible, series, just kind of going through that and reading it. And then from there, they enjoy, the time together eating breakfast. And then they go out and enjoy the snow and make a snowman. And then in the midst of that, they said, oh, why don't we put on some hot chocolate in the crock pot? So they're all in the kitchen working on that, just being together. Family, it's all about being together, learning from one another,
yeah,
showing each other the love, and then God loves us, so then showing that to one another. So I started with that, and then from there they end the day with recounting the scripture they read, and not only enjoying the day and how the weather was outside and making a snowman and enjoying the hot cocoa. It's all
yeah,
about God too. It's about his creation and what he's done for us. So that's what the book depicts. And then I go through all the seasons. My spring book is out, and I actually partner with a orchard in my area, and I was able to showcase what they do with their strawberries.
right.
And from there, I do summer with lemonade. And so it's virtually the same, but different activities, of course, different seasons. And then I'll partner again in the fall with an apple orchard. Also end the year with that.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yes, yes.
I love that so much, especially because sometimes just spending time with your family and making memories can be the most
Yes,
beautifully simple thing.
absolutely, absolutely. So I got really excited doing that. I thought this is
Yeah,
great. This is great.
yes,
So we'll see what next year holds, but it's been a very fun journey to get to meet everybody and
yes,
explain to everybody what your heart and your faith is and what you
yes.
do. So,
Yes, no, it's definitely a great opportunity
yes.
because people, even out and about will hear that I read a book and then I have an opportunity to engage them
Yes,
with what God's done in my life,
absolutely.
what I feel like He's teaching me. So it's a great
Yes.
opportunity for sure.
Yes. All
Yeah.
righty. This is great. I'm excited. We've
Oh,
got number 4 coming along. It's was there ever a moment where you doubted continuing? Like you said, I actually spoke with you on the phone yesterday, and you were telling me that you've had this
yeah.
story like in a Word document or whatever. So was there ever a time where you thought, okay, this is no use. I shouldn't work on this. Let me just stop. This
Yeah.
is not for me.
Yes, all the above. um, I I definitely, which I think the world of self-publishing is so awesome because I feel like it does give an opportunity for so many people that normally wouldn't get the chance to write a book to be able to write a book. Like
Yes,
myself,
yes,
obviously I would not
yes,
normally be able to do this without the world of self-publishing. However,
yes,
in the best way, self-publishing does have so many different great success stories and some not so good
absolutely.
stories of people, unfortunately, I think wasting some time, wasting some money. And those were two things that I did not have the last couple of
Yes,
my life, but I still had
yes,
started. So God was so kind. I actually bumped into, or I met this girl at church. Her name is Katie, and she runs a hybrid publishing company called Branch and
Okay.
Vine Publishing.
Okay.
And so there's self-publishing, and then there's traditional publishing, and then hybrid publishers are kind of in the middle, and they will
Yeah.
be able to help basically project manage a self-publisher to be able to take it from written idea to being able to be published
Right.
on Amazon, Barnes Noble, online, and other places. And so
Yes.
having her help to be able to help me make all those decisions and
Yes.
work as like kind of a liaison with the illustrators that we found and uploading,
Right.
formatting. It was really nice
Yes.
because she did kind of take a lot of the headache. And obviously, she was still an investment and I still hired her. But for me,
Yes.
it was worth the investment of what I paid her because I know that I spent
Absolutely.
time and money in the long haul and was able to still manage my life.
Yes.
So it was cool because for a long time I did kind of sit on the story because I was a little
Hmm.
trigger shy to get started.
Yes.
But once I met with her, had coffee with her, and realized what she
Absolutely.
does, why she does it, I was like, oh my goodness, I.
Hi, Harley. Excuse me, my mentor there.
Hi, Harley. Nice to
I
meet
just
you.
saw her jump in. That's
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, so I would say I did. And then even since then, of course, there's some things that you can work and be really diligent with, and then some things are just outside
Yes.
of control, even when it comes
Absolutely.
to the printer, the formatting, and all of that. So I think a lot of it kind of is just remembering that you got to kind of take things as they come and know that the timing for all things is going to be unfolded as it's supposed to be. So I would say
Absolutely.
yes, lots of even just like an imposter syndrome too of like
Yes.
I'm not a mom. I'm, still kind of young in some ways and still
I
figuring things out.
understand.
So,
There's
what
always
am
a
I?
start, though. There's always
Yes,
a start. You got to start somewhere.
yes. And I know when we chatted yesterday too, you were telling me a little bit of how you've navigated some stuff with, having some people help you and how
Yes.
that's been frustrating
Yes.
for you too. What's
Absolutely.
been tough? Yeah,
Yeah, so I think when I started off, I kind of started, very fast. I was like, this is great. This is fun. I got the first book out, but then as you start, trying to figure out, the formatting of things, and then the marketing is always a big thing for self
yeah,
published authors. It's not like you can just kind of put the word out and then expect it to sell. And that's kind of where I know Harley's still in. She's kind of, mentored me in the beginning of the marketing side of things because I myself am very busy. I'm a teacher. Of course, I've got my own house, husband to cook for, things to do. We go to school every day. So it can be a little challenging with the marketing side of things and just getting out there. But I noticed once I got out there to vendor events and the different things like that, it was very helpful. You got support from your community. Like
yeah,
Bria, what you're doing is really good.
yeah,
Keep moving with it, but there were times, many times, I'm thinking, what am I doing?
yes,
Is this worth the time and the
yes,
effort? And of course, the finances, the money you put into it. But then, you know what? I thought the Lord's leading me to do this. I'm going
yes,
to keep moving forward. And what happens, happens. And, so I think having a little bit of the faith background of what you
yes,
do and wanting to help people, that
yeah,
makes the biggest difference. You're not in it for the money, and that's with any job. You keep
yeah,
children, your nanny. You're not in it for the money. You love the children. It's the same idea. When it comes down to writing a book, you are wanting to portray through your stories to others.
yeah,
The idea of love or whatever is behind your mission.
yeah,
And my mission there was, faith based and wanting children to be able to relate and have the activities in the books, the coloring, or whatever that might be. So when you relate to what you're doing in that way, it's like everything else just kind of
yeah.
dissipates. So,
Yes, I love that so much. It's like everything
yes,
always unfolds the way it's supposed to. All the,
absolutely. It works out. It
yes, it
works
does.
out.
It definitely does.
Yes. Okay, moving right along to the next question here. So, what has helped you most in getting your books into the hands of family? I know I touched on that a little bit. I think I was a little ahead of myself, but
Yeah, no, of course. No, that's great. I love that you personally have done more events than I have.
thank
And
you, Harley.
yes, hi Harley. Um, I actually run a YouTube channel too where I do read alouds of kids' books. So
Yes.
that's been really fun because I obviously have an advanced copy of my book, so I've been able to do read
Yes.
aloud of my book ahead of time and be able even just to share that link on my own social media and with other people being like, hey, if you want to pre-order the book or even just see the book before you pre-order it, here is
Absolutely.
content in its entirety. And
Yes.
I feel like that having that platform and having that, the YouTube channel has been great because it's opened up a way to
Yes.
be able to share my book even beforehand. And then
Yes.
I really haven't done a lot of marketing just besides my own social media right now.
Yes.
So I luckily have just such a great community at my church here in Southern
That's
California.
amazing. That is
A lot of people
amazing.
have been so generous to say they already pre-ordered the book and say,
Yes, that's good. I need to get on that bandwagon. Sometimes I
yes,
feel like I've got so many things going. I'm like, I talk to people and I was like, I'm going to check your book out, but time passes. I have to write myself a note.
no, I'm like, okay, well, don't pre-order it. I'll send it to you, so don't even worry about
Okay.
it.
I've
Yeah,
talked
please.
to several people through the journey and I'm like, I've got to get your book. But like I said, sometimes I have to remember. I've sent emails to these people. I've got to get back with
Yes,
them. I just like forget. I said
yes,
I'm a one lady show here. So.
yes. Emails are a lot of fun sometimes. Time flies.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that's
yeah. What about you?
great.
Can you share a little bit more about some of those events that you've been able to go to?
Yes,
People that you maybe normally wouldn't have met on social media, and you just
exactly. Just getting out in person helps a lot. And some people may say they're not a people person, they're not this, they're not that. But I mean, it really, really helps for you to get out. Like I bought a table, a tent, and the different things to
yeah,
set up your booth, so to speak,
yep,
at these vendor events. And so people come by and they want to know the why. Why
yeah,
are you doing this?
yeah,
So it just opens up a whole nother door for you to be able to explain to people why you're doing what you're doing. And from that, they buy your book. It's like,
yeah,
they see the mission behind what you're doing and they want to support that. So then they, purchase the book. And then I go through people, at the events and they're like, you know what, Bria, you should get involved in this or this homeschool co-op or this or that. And it just kind of opens the door for a bigger spectrum of different things, that you probably would have never seen if you didn't go out and, meet people and see them,
yeah,
in the space of your community, which sometimes takes a little bit. I'm going to an event this weekend and we're out on spring break. So I'm house cleaning and different things. And I'm like, okay, I've got in the back of my mind, I need to
yes,
get ready for the event and get the books pulled together. And
yes,
sometimes I take different things to my vendor events, depending on which one I go to. If I realize it's more of a child friendly location, I want to make sure that I have enough coloring sheets and the
yes.
different things. So, yeah, it's all about getting out there and meeting new people. So
I love
that's
that.
very helpful when you're in that space.
That's so awesome. Oh, so cool.
Yes.
I'm sure you've met so many people at those events. It's so fun.
Yes, yes. Okay, the next question we have for you is what has helped you most in getting your books into the hands, which we did that one. So then we'll move on to have you found any strategies that really worked for growing your audience? I know you talked about
Mhm.
your social media, your YouTube, and that's one thing I would like to get into at some point. But how did you get into that? How did you start that for yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I actually started like a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago,
Yeah.
where at the time, like obviously there's, and again, I'm not a parent, but even just as a nanny at the
Yes.
time, there was so much different types of things out there for kids' entertainment, online,
Yes.
printed, whatever it may be. And some of it didn't really feel like it was going to encourage kids to have an imagination and be pure and
Right.
things like that. So I think there was a part of me that says, okay, I can either kind of complain about this or I can try to be part of the solution.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
knew in the future I wanted to write my own books, but I knew that that
Yeah.
wasn't going to happen overnight. But
Right. Right.
I was kind of praying and I felt like what's something that I could do more short term that would be able to just kind of highlight more wholesome
Hmm.
books, whether they be Christian
Exactly.
or non-Christian. Like I always
Exactly.
joke, I love Curious George books. I think
Yeah.
they're so fun.
Right,
Always
right.
doing a Curious George book, and that's
Yes.
really cool. So I started that, had to kind of put it on pause for a little bit, but then this past January, once I kind of had some more free time in my schedule, flexibility, I knew my book
Yes.
was coming out. I was like, okay, this is something I want to give more time to. And
Yes.
the cool part is I kind of in this Facebook group that I'm in with some indie authors, I opened it up and I said, hey, if anyone wants to mail me a copy of their
That's
book that they did
great.
to do a read aloud of it, I got like
Yeah.
50 emails in 24 hours. It was like I got
That is
way more
amazing.
of a response than I expected. But
That's
that's been really
amazing.
cool because I think the best part is that there's no competition with other like
Yes.
indie authors of children's books. Like really I've felt more support from everyone that I've met lately of, want
Yes.
to buy your book. I want to share your book with my audience. I want
Yes.
to know about it. It's not really a competitive environment, which is nice, even though obviously everyone's trying to just get their book out there, but there's a lot of support.
Exactly.
So learning from a lot of indie authors through that experience of my YouTube channel, obviously
Yes.
media, getting connected with people with like-minded values and things like that has
Yes.
just been so awesome. So I've learned a lot from
Yes.
other authors in this
That's good.
process.
We learn from each other, and that's what it's all about.
Yes.
You learn
Yes, but
different things from
you
one another.
you told me you started on social media less than a year ago, right?
Yes, I think my very first post was sometime in July of last year,
Oh my God.
2025.
And you've just
Yes.
grown so much since then.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've
Over a
met.
thousand followers. And I didn't expect that. I'm not your typical probably Instagram person. I don't necessarily show my face on it a lot. I do try to do post every day. Thanks to Harley, who was in here before. She said, Bria, if you don't put things out, they'll never know you're doing it.
It's true.
So
Yeah.
it kind of made me, set the goal to at least post something every day, whether that was something I was thinking on in the Bible, or
Yeah.
why don't we get more faith based books out, or
Yeah.
just showing my book and putting a little link to my website, brightlittlepages.com. It didn't matter what it was. I tried my best to just show up. And like I told you on the phone, I'm not dancing there on
Yeah.
Instagram, the reels and the different things. I'm not doing any of that. That's not my Christian background. That's not
Yeah.
something that you will ever see me do. But I want people to know the authentic way, of marketing and that kind of a thing. So I just get on and try to express why I do what I do. And then again, like I said, about showing my books, and that's where I've met a lot of people, even like you, on Instagram. You kind of scroll through and I saw you and I was like, you know what? I think we have a lot in common, the faith-based ideas. And I thought, well, let me just reach out and talk and see where that goes. And from there, you meet good friends by doing things like that. So, yeah, so just getting out there and just explaining what you're doing and why you do it,
Yes.
basically. And I wouldn't have expected me to get to this many followers at this point. It's just that, you see the different trends of even the music trends and the different things. And
Absolutely.
that's not something I follow. So I kind of thought, well, you know what? We'll see where it goes. I don't know if, my posts will get seen by no sound, but it's
Yes.
okay. I'm standing up for what I know, and
Yeah.
I'm standing up for what I believe, and I will stick to that.
Yeah.
So I think through that, just showing who you are,
Yeah.
real, you know,
So awesome.
and so that's where I've grown.
Yeah. We got to get you on YouTube. We got to get you
Yes.
doing some YouTube videos.
Harley has a YouTube channel and she's told me about it and
Yes.
different people. I'm just like, I don't know. What would I even say on there?
Yes.
like,
Yes.
uh,
I mean, I love it. I'm actually been surprised that more authors don't have a YouTube channel, even just talking and sharing about their
yeah.
process. Because from what I've seen, obviously, I'll post the same short form on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. And the
Yes.
algorithms are all different. They all got different systems that they're doing. But I would say
Yes.
overall, YouTube Shorts has a much bigger reach of a video.
Yes.
It's
That's
numbers.
great.
And you just put a short on there. So,
Yes. I might need to
yeah,
look into that. I'm like, that's
yeah,
Taylor getting me on there.
yes. I'm trying to get more authors on it because when I'm interacting with these indie authors, I would love to collaborate with them when I do their read aloud. Because I'm like, hey,
yes.
in case that somebody that's watching this read aloud
Yes.
more, to know more about you, your books, I'd love for them to like
Yes.
right there. And I'm
Yes, and
having
I have
success.
the see, the thing is I set it up, but I've done nothing else. Like, so I have the account, but that's it.
Yes. Yes.
I
Well,
have it, but that's it.
yes. And I think some people do forget that you can have a whole YouTube account just with shorts. So you wouldn't even really have to
Okay.
do a lot of long form. Obviously you could if you wanted to, but
Yeah.
you could quite literally just go in there and anytime any short form video you already have in your phone, just post one a day on YouTube
Right.
Shorts and then have it be part of your routine when you post on Instagram. And
That's
I think it's really
good.
cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know. I might be revisiting that, trying to figure out how to do it.
Yes, I'm learning as I go. So anything I can figure out about YouTube, I'll pass along.
Yes, please. I'm always open to learning new things,
Yes,
learning new strategies.
yes, yes. We're all learning as we go.
That's great. Yes. Okay. So now it's what is your biggest vision for your book? I know we talked about, the book you're doing now. So I'd like to know what your vision is with that and the impact you hope to make for
Yes,
families and children and the different things.
yes. I think the best part is, especially, I think I can probably speak for both of us, that we're not in it for
Yes.
the money. We're not in it for
Yes.
the crazy book sales. We're not in it for any other reason other than
Yes.
that even if one family or one kid can be, encouraged or impacted by what we do,
Yes.
worth it.
Absolutely.
So practically, like the vision is, I'm about to release the first book in the series. So
Okay.
there's at least four of them because I want to introduce all four of the.
Hi, blessed mama. Welcome. It's my
Yes,
cousin.
I love it. Hello. And then after that, be able to do a whole series with all the characters interacting with each other. So I think it would be really fun to have multiple books and a whole series.
Yes.
But I would say in terms of measuring like the impact for me, it would just be, a mom or a dad or, families reaching out
Yes.
or emailing me or messaging me being like, hey, your book really, blessed our reading time and
Absolutely.
encouraged some conversations that we wouldn't normally have had, about
Mm-hmm.
mind for other people
Yeah.
or encouraging the people around us. To me, that means way more than
Exactly.
big book sales or anything like that. So my vision,
Yes.
my heart is just that there would be some kind of impact in families,
Mm-hmm.
and with parents and with kids. Because really, it's a book for kids to entertain them, but it's also hopefully,
Yes.
excuse me, for parents as well. So
Yes,
when I think
absolutely.
about the vision and my prayer for the books, that's what it is. But
Yes, that's
yeah,
great. That's
yes,
wonderful.
yeah, what about for you? I know you have some different ideas and probably maybe
Yes.
different visions based on the different types of
Yes.
things that
It
you're
just
doing.
kind of depends on what I'm writing about.
Yeah.
The seasons now that I'm working on. So basically, the vision I have with that is basically to explain to children about God's creation. I mean, He
Yeah.
created what we live in, and to have them really understand that, because I am a firm believer, whatever children put into them through their eyes is
Yeah.
what makes up their heart. And
Totally.
so my intent is to get good things out, that they can learn from and learn life experiences, whether that's cooking in the kitchen, whether it's enjoying nature,
Yeah.
going to farms and orchards, and everything's made by seed, like the
Yes.
trees that, at the apple orchards you go to and the different things. Just being able to explain that through the
Yeah.
books. And then also, I mean, God, he's
Yeah.
powerful, and he created us, and he created the universe, the nature, and all that. So through the books I'm doing now, that's more or less what I'm looking forward to, just to show, through that vision of what we live in and how wonderful, God is.
I love that. That's so
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Gonna bless so many families.
Yes, I'm really hoping we can get the word out. And like I said, I talk to people from time
Mhm.
to time, and basically that's, the agenda they're trying to capture as well.
Yeah.
So it's
Awesome.
very helpful when you talk to people and they're like, you know what, I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get the word out too.
Yes. Yes. That's so awesome.
Yes, so that's good. Well, I think we're coming to time here. I don't want to hold you up too long. Let's see here. One of the last questions we could try to close with. I had some here. Let's see. Um, maybe we'll end with this. So, what's something you wished you knew before you published your first book?
That's a great question.
It's probably a
Um,
little lengthy, but we'll close on that
yes,
note.
what's something that I wish I knew? A lot. I think that if God has given you an idea and if
Hmm.
God's given you something and he's put it in your heart and you look
Yes.
around and you see all these other books and all these other, different things, I think sometimes you can be like, oh, the world doesn't need another kid's book.
Right, right,
There's
true.
enough books out there, but I think just reminding myself that God gave me this idea and God put this desire in my heart. And so therefore he wants me, Rachel, to execute the
Yes.
idea. I think just reminding myself about that and keeping that at the forefront
Yes.
because there's a lot of decisions to make. There's a lot of money
Yes.
involved that I'm investing. So here I am saying, God,
Exactly. A lot. A
there is
lot.
a lot more than people think of saying, hey, I'm
Yes.
going to, pull from my savings or not be able to save for a little bit because I'm
Yes.
investing in something that I just feel like is a step of faith and a risk that you want me to take. So, I
Yes.
just reminding myself that yes, there's a lot of great books out there, a lot of great Christian books, a lot of great authors,
Welcome,
self-publishers.
Monica. I was on the phone with her earlier today. Sorry,
Hi, how's it
Rachel.
going? No, that's okay. I love it. I love making new friends. But yeah, I
Yes.
would say just reminding myself that if I have the idea that I do feel like is from God, then that's because God wants me specifically to walk it out. So just
Yes.
keeping that in the forefront of my mind and
Yes.
remembering that it's going to be worth the risk. And no matter what happens, that's up to God too.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. That's the
you know,
truth.
yeah. So what about for you too? I know you have a few more books
Yes.
out, but
Yes. So I started out kind of on a rough road. I thought that whoever I spoke to originally through it was a KDP site, and I actually thought I
yeah,
was talking to KDP on Amazon. Come to
yeah,
find out, it was not. It was
yeah,
a scam. So I started
yeah,
on a very very rough road with that. And I realized really quickly that trying to do traditional publishing, which
yes,
it works for everybody differently, but
yeah,
once I had that, I got burned, so to speak, with that,
yeah,
and I thought, forget it, I would do self-publishing. It doesn't matter, the cost that it takes, the time
yeah,
you put into it, the effort, the formatting, the eye squinting on the computer at night trying to
yeah,
figure out what goes where. I said, you know
yeah,
what, I am going to do this on my own. So
yes,
yeah, so that's where I started. I messed up, and I
yeah,
gave $200 to this quote person that I thought was going to
yes,
publish the book for me and be my spokesman and do all the things, but came to realize really quickly that it was a scam. So I was able to get my money back. Thankfully, I used my credit card, so that was really helpful.
yes,
Um, so I got my money back, and I thought, you know what? Here I go. A
yeah,
computer, my heart, my hands. Here
yes,
we go. So,
yes. I love
um,
that.
that's where I, started and just kept moving from there. So, not to say I'll never do traditional publishing, but for right now, I got
Yeah,
burned in the beginning. So I
yeah.
said, let me figure this out. So,
Yes. Oh, yeah.
yes.
That's what I love
So,
about indie authors is people don't realize that you really do everything. You write, you project manage, you're
yes.
technical side of things, you're,
Yes.
on the
Social media, girl, everything,
social
everything you
media,
can think of. You're
fulfill,
doing it all.
you're doing it all on top of doing everything else with your day job,
Yes.
family, and everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why it's
So
so
we
important too to support indie authors too. You don't even have to buy their book. That's what I tell people. I'm like, you can just,
yes, just hop on their lives or something, just like I ever
yes,
do it. But
yes,
we'll
you
do
need to do
more.
more of this. Yes.
Yes, marketing is no joke. That's right, Monica. That's the truth. You gotta get out there. You got to do what you know how to do. And sometimes you may not think you know how to do it. But when you
Yes.
get on social media, you do see some trends that you may want to follow in some respect. Like I told you, I may not be the one dancing, which you'll never see me do, but I
Yes.
will try to figure out a way to get the word out.
Yes.
I, I will try.
Yes. No dancing here either. So I
No. I'm
yeah.
like, what are people wasting their time on, right?
Yes, no, it's true. And I think with social media, people do want authentic. I think we chatted about that yesterday, but
Yes, we did. And I think people forget that, to be honest with you. I think they forget. And, like a lot of people have told me, they said, Bria, your face is your business. If you hide
yeah,
behind your book and put the book in front of the face and just try to talk, that's not
yeah,
always what it's about. You've got to get out and you've got to talk and you've got to
really,
explain, your mission, your heart, and what you do. And, from that, you meet new people. Like I
yeah,
met you and
yeah,
Monica that's on, and it's just a blessing to be able to find like-minded people, um,
hmm,
just like-minded people. So that's our mission out here is to meet new people and to get our books into the hands of the children and
yeah,
families because with this world and how we live today,
hmm,
it's rough, it's scary,
yes,
of some things that we have to put up with. But,
yeah,
we know that, God will bring us through and it doesn't matter, what it looks like. We'll get through our publishing journeys and
yes,
reaching other people. We'll get there.
yes, yes.
Yes, that's right, Monica.
Yeah, we're figuring it out as we go. It's the
Yes,
best part.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I suppose we will close and then hopefully we can catch up again and we'll do this more often. We'll post this and get some other people to listen to us and we'll move from there.
Yes, well, thank you so much, Bria, even just for reaching
Yes.
out, messaging me, wanting to do this, and kind of just starting this
Yes.
friendship that I know will continue to bless me in this
Yes.
journey that, again, I'm figuring out all by myself,
Yes.
but you're figuring it out. We got other amazing indie
Yes.
authors around us that share the same values we do. So
Absolutely.
we get,
Thank you, Monica. So, where can we follow you? Let's close on that. You've got a YouTube channel, so let's
yep.
connect there.
Yep, YouTube is Taylor Storytime. I post a new read aloud of a children's book every day at 6 a.m.
Okay,
Anytime.
great.
Um, and I'm on Instagram here, Books by Miss Taylor. I'm on TikTok as well. And I have a Facebook, but I really don't use it that much. I need to be better about posting
That's
up
me. I have
here.
one, but I just everything that's on Instagram more than likely goes over
Yeah,
to Facebook.
yeah,
That's it. My
yeah,
following's not big there.
yeah. Most active here on Instagram and on YouTube. So that's probably the best way.
Yes, yes. And you can find me at Bright Little Pages. I try to make it very easy. That's
Yeah.
what my Facebook handle is. That's what Instagram is. And at some point, we will get more active on YouTube, but I'm not quite there
Yeah.
yet.
I'll help you. I'll help you. Oh, perfect.
Monica's following.
Oh, thank you, Monica. I can't wait to meet you. So awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank Yeah, I hope
Okay. Well, we'll give the rest of your day back,
I hope
Rachel, and we will talk again.
it sounds great. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye bye.